Friends, welcome one more time and let's welcome our guest Chandra Modali sir. Sir, welcome.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. So, sir, before going into spiritual tablets, how do we integrate, how do we apply the knowledge of life or how to understand in a real life?
See, before I try to answer the question, what is spiritual tablets? I will talk in terms of what I have understood. Not only spiritual tablets and its value. Let's start with the journey of a soul. Right? Journey of a soul from the perspective of a student of spiritual tablets or a student of spirituality. So, Robert Squads, as you all know, has written wonderful books in which he sits with the channels and invites the souls of people to understand what is all this soul to human life, why the human life, the karma, the reincarnation, all these concepts in simple layman's terms we will try to understand. I may bring in a little bit of concepts from the Theosophical Society.
Definitely, yep.
Right? And those are all the spiritual principles behind the story that we will weave. Okay. So let us start with this. Me as Chandra Modali is a soul sitting inside this body, right? But then what was I? What am I? Or who am I? Am I Chandra Modali? So when I take the approach of spiritual definition of who am I, right? And I am an essence which is a representative of, we may call it God, we may call it Almighty. Let us, for the sake of avoiding the influence of the religious connotation here, we will call it the source or the supreme oneness. Now, if you take thinking and destiny, the fundamentals, right? How does he explain? This essence is sitting in the area that you call the realm of permanence, wherein you are absolutely balanced from all perspectives. Now, what is this balanced? You are in a state of equilibrium. You have three components. Like you have got Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar, or the expansion of the acronym God, generator, operator, destroyer. Right? Generator is that component which has got the active and passive components, which is made up of the active and passive components of knowledge and identity, which is required for you to be a creator.
Yeah.
Then let's look at the next role. The next role is operator. You may call it the administrator. You may call it by so many names. Right? So there we get to understand that you need, for administration, for functioning, for operating, you require two qualities, which is rightness and reason, or rightness and, depending upon how we understand, how we interpret the word, reason can be justice as well. The third entity, destroyer, are the desire and feeling. All these are sitting in a perfectly balanced body. The responsibility of maintaining the balance of that body is given to the destroyer or the destroyer component, which is qualified by desire and feeling. So, that is what we as balanced representative of the Supreme Source we are. But then the Supreme has to maintain the quality. So the Supreme will keep on sending temptations to trigger the desire or the feeling, to trigger them to see whether they are sustaining their balance or they are succumbing to that balance. Right? This is like, in my understanding, the way I looked at it is, there is Vishwamitra who is sitting for his penance, and then Menika and Rambha come to dance. Right? Is he disturbed, which is the imbalance of the desire and feeling?
Yeah.
Right? Or is he able to continue his penance? Now, let us say that he fails to continue his penance. So the balance is disturbed.
Yeah.
Which means the body, the pure body in which all these three were existing together, is now disturbed. That body has to be purified. And who is the custodian of purity? It is the destroyer. So that element has to come along with the body, pass through various cycles of cleanup. Here, visualize that it is a hungry person. Right? His desire is for satisfying his hunger. Once the hunger is satiated, he is no more hungry. He is able to continue with what he has to do.
Yeah.
Right? So that defines establishment of a balance. That means a desire needs to be balanced by the corresponding feeling associated with it or quenched, and then you have achieved what you call a state of balance, or your consciousness has moved up by 1 degree.
So to get that balanced state, we need to fulfill that whatever the required
That desire.
Yeah, desire.
Right? Now, keep this in the backdrop. Let us bring in Mr. Robert Scott. And he has analyzed and said that there are 35 odd lessons to be learned.
35.
35 or so qualities which we may call divine qualities. These divine qualities are the lessons around which we have to learn 360 degrees of each of those qualities, and that can be learnt quickly if we take birth on this earth.
As a human?
Planet Earth, yes.
Okay.
Right? So, now, as we are learning this, right? Now, how are you going to do it? Let's say the Earth, planet Earth represents the school. And our experiences plays a multifaceted role, that of a guru, that of a lesson, that of the teacher, that of the taught. The entire thing is fed by our breath. So we can say our breath is our guru. The breath is the one that is sustaining us. That is the life energy, and so on. Now these 35 lessons are huge, very vast for us to complete. We can't do it in one lifetime. So what Robert Scott is saying is you may take one or two of them in a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I take them, I will learn theoretically, but that is not 360 degrees learning.
Yeah.
So I have to experience them.
Yeah.
And then I am again governed by two more parameters. I have to create, I have to build the knowledge, I have to do it within the parlance of justice or righteousness.
Yeah.
And whatever action I have, it has to have a reason. It has to support my desire and my feeling. Right? It has to help me achieve that.
Yeah.
So if I have to do all of that, I need not just me, but I need multiple
Characters.
I need multiple actions. I need multiple themes. Right? All this in effect boils down to a movie production in which there are actors, there are scenarios, there are roles, there are relationships, there are emotions. All these are the takeaways, and there is a timeline. All this is a project. So all these timelines have to be met. Right? So first we have a high level definition of what is the soul. It is the representative of the supreme oneness. We are breaking it down into multiple components as enunciated in Thinking and Destiny. Right? Then Mr. Robert Scott is coming with the 35 lessons that we have to learn. And every lesson that we learn has to be complete in all respects. So now you have written now the movie. You are going to take an incarnation. That means incarnation means we come down to earth. So we choose our parents. We choose all those roles for us to completely learn the lessons that are enunciated therein, experience them. Right? So we create a pre-birth plan. Another book that I am reading also tells me that not only that, we even select the sound of the name with which we are to be born.
So the blueprint is very much particular here. I mean,
Is having that. It is having all the information encoded into the sound of your name.
so if suppose my name is Kavita, uh,
How do you decipher? Let
yeah,
us say my name is
Chandra.
Chandrasekhar Modali. Right? So I have every letter, the way I write it down in English, I write the sequence. Then there is a methodology to decipher, right? Mapping these English characters to the Hebrew letters
Mm-hmm.
for the sound.
Okay.
This is very well brought out in another book titled Soul Contract Decoded.
Okay.
Okay, we will come to that. But every relationship and every role that we have assigned to the people, the other souls that are going to help us in our learning journey, they are all having a contractual arrangement between my soul and their soul. So those are all the soul contracts. And how to decode them? There is a separate large chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe during the course of one of these, we will see whether it makes sense for us to include or not. But basically, there is a plan.
Mm.
Right? With that plan, armed with that plan, we take a physical birth. But the process of birthing is so complicated that we forget the plan. We take a physical birth. Now, as a soul, if I really look at any individual, they will fall into multiple categories. They will be an infant. That means they have had some number of births prior to this one. Or they are transitioning from the various kingdoms that are involved in this physical planet, right? In their form as maybe a mineral kingdom, or they have been there in the plant kingdom, they have been in the animal kingdom, and they are now, right? All these are the different dimensions in which we exist. And incidentally, I am also learning that all the other elements are already sitting within us physically,
True.
right? So we have the mineral kingdom is our backbone structure.
Mm.
The plant kingdom is within us as the digestive system,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is from the Sufi model of, right? And then the animal kingdom is your passions, they are still with us. Then we have the human kingdom, right? We are, as a human being, we are in the third dimension.
So, is there any shortcut, or we need to go through the entire system of mineral kingdom and then
No, there
plant?
is no shortcut.
There is no shortcut.
No,
We
you
have to,
start somewhere,
yeah.
right? And then depending upon what all you have already learned, you can, but then your starting is as a mineral kingdom, and then you have come through all that. That is before your soul takes the human life.
In that particular kingdom, we have a choice to whether we can, we can learn faster and then.
That depends upon how you conduct, how you have planned your life, and whether all the qualities are complete.
Mhm. Right.
Depending upon this, that's again, there's a lot of research by Dr. Newton. He has done extensive research. He is no more,
Mm-hmm.
this Dr. Newton, and he has classified that there are 35 different stages through which the soul evolution happens before it becomes a matured soul,
Mm-hmm.
and then unlimited soul. Right?
So, I mean, mature soul to transcendental soul. Do we all also we get into the transcendental state, or
Now, we will eventually merge again.
we will
The
merge
entire
in that?
objective, but then is it today, is it tomorrow? We cannot say. Depends upon our completing all the lessons, etc. Right? And sometimes, if the environment has already ascended, then we get the benefit of.
Yeah.
So now all these parameters, which are part and parcel of your pre-birth plan for a given lifetime, becomes your purpose of life. This is where spiritual tablets comes in. How should you conduct yourself? What are the different stages of your life? What are the different learnings that you have to go through? What is the way that you conduct yourself, right? And guided within the principles of the rightness, reason, etc. And then, how are you to look at the physical aspects of your life? Because ultimately, you are not here to amass wealth. Not the wealth, the physical or materialistic wealth that you have created while you are on this earth. But what is the experience? What is the wisdom that is actually helping your level of consciousness reach the maximum of the projected plan with which you are born? That is the purpose of life. Right? Now, based on, now you have a plan, We know that in real life, even when you plan something, you
Sometimes,
have to encounter obstacles.
yeah.
Right?
A lot of times
So
it fails, and then
a lot of
yeah,
things fail.
yeah.
Right? So now, how are you to treat these? You have already forgotten the fact that you have introduced them with a specific purpose behind them. You have introduced them so that you can enhance your learning, expedite your learning process, and ascend faster.
So do we really carry forward all our experiences in
Yes.
next birth? Because before taking birth between life, uh, the blueprint, sometimes maximum times we forget. Once, as you said
Okay.
very well, that when we take birth we forget our plan, and then eventually through
Hmm.
circumstances and situation, we maximum time people take hardships to again get into spirituality and to understand the purpose of life. So is there any really
Okay.
possibility?
Everything, remember, everything is directly linked to the 35 lessons, 360 degrees that you have to complete.
Correct. uh,
Okay. That is the input. Now, how much you are able to complete, how much you are not able to complete, etc., we will also talk. So, you have drawn a plan. The plan will have multiple exit points. What do you do when a project is going to fail?
Sometimes we quit it.
You quit it, right? Those are exit points.
Yeah.
When will you quit? When you have completed the project. One, right? There is a handover process. We will talk about that. Then, when the project you are able to evaluate and say that it is not going to get completed. So, you will abort the project. You will abort the journey. Because here the project is your journey,
Yeah.
life journey, right? So, there are multiple reasons. Now, so what happens when you terminate a project? How do you manage a project? What are the kind of lessons or learnings, and how is it delivered to you? These are all the getting into the details of that life journey.
Hmm.
Those, in simple terms, contribute to what I would call the essence of spiritual tablets.
Wow.
That wisdom is contained in the various concepts, right? Various concepts that have been built through the wisdom of Patriji and put into a beautiful package which consists of close to 550 concepts. Each concept is a wisdom concept
Hmm.
which we are calling a tablet, and that is the spiritual tablet in an essence, in a nutshell.
Thank you one more time, Chandra sir, for explaining in such a beautiful way the before stage of understanding. Like before going into spiritual tablet, we need to extract the essence of the entire meaning of spiritual tablet. And the way you have explained it, it's really very simple to understand for normal people. So people may have their own experiences, but sometimes we cannot frame it in a right way. We cannot, understand. We understand, but we cannot express it in a right way.
Mm.
That's why books or masters are
Yeah,
required in our life.
correct.
As you said, uh, Sajjan Sangatya and book reading, Swadhyaya,
Mm.
and meditation. When we club all together, we go into perfection. There is
Correct.
nothing called perfection, but still we grow in
Okay,
a that way.
right.
In next episode, we'll understand now spiritual tablets, how this disease happens and how we understand them, how we cure them. So, friends, you must be getting a lot of wisdom, and when you relate all this knowledge with your own wisdom, with your own experiences, you will definitely get your answers. So thank you for watching it. Please understand the concept of life and spiritual tablet through this episode. Thank you for watching it. Please like, share, subscribe, PMC English. Please share this video with everyone.